Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategies, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon Haddad. How's it
Yes,
going?
yes, sir. Tommy, eventful week. We talked briefly about it. And sometimes in life, when weeks get tough, you still got to show up, and that's what you and I are about, my friend. So I won't get into too much detail, but hey, y'all, when you get stressed out, just know you still got to show up because no one's going to do the work for you. But fortune cookie.
Yeah. While you open that, there's an Uber ad going around about just showing up and just getting there. And that's really stuck with me recently. It's not going to get me to drive more Ubers, but it's just one of those things where it's like showing up is 90% of it, right? Just being there.
Well, that's the hard, like that's where we lose ourselves too, right? It's not showing up. Honestly, it's like that's where you lose who you are.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, this is awesome. This is a good one for today, my friend.
All right. What is it?
Laughter and joy are the true currencies of a rich life. We need that today, my friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the term "rich life," I love that term because it means so many different things to so many different people.
You know what's fascinating? Because you're right. Like Tommy, it's not objective, right? Like so many things are in this world. And here's what I've learned. I've gone through my phases, right? Where I've been very poor, and I've had phases where I've made a lot of money. And the reality is, there are different stresses that you end up dealing with, whether what you have money or you don't have money. But the reality is, it's you. Like my happiness is a direct indicator of how I'm feeling about myself internally. And the more I've worked on myself, the better I felt about who I am. Like I've been in a place, you know what, broker power up, y'all. All right, during COVID, right? In a situation where I'm literally making six figures a month. Okay. And unhappy, miserable, like just too much going on. I'm reactive. I'm not proactive. My days are late. I'm not eating healthy. I wasn't eating healthy. I'm just trying to get by every day because I'm busy and I set no parameters. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And now I'm in a place where I'm working on myself internally, and it's a big difference, Tommy. Like then you start feeling things, like you start laughing with your family. You start having more fun. I'm enjoying spending more time like with the kids and with the wife and my mom, my dad. And we're just laughing and thinking about old times, nostalgia. That's where I'm grounded again. So I feel this one really heavily. And it just means the world. And I really enjoyed reading that fortune cookie today. So
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
and a rich life to me is I have enough to pay the bills. I'm not stressed about money financially, and my wife is happy. Because if my wife is happy, that means everything else is taken care of. So it's a small task list, but it's a important and big task item.
Isn't it crazy, Tommy, that and I know I understand that everybody out there is married yet or not has a partner yet, and that's okay. But
No, and it goes to when like we were just before we were married too, because we've been together a really long time, and that has not changed. It's just her happiness. But
well, it's the you're building lives together, and when your partner and you understand that, it is so deep because when you understand that, hey, this is a team. Like when I have emotions or when I feel a certain way, I got to share it with the other person. That's how you start adapting and learning and understanding each other. But then you start pushing each other and you learn what works and doesn't work, like you said, right? And
oh,
so
absolutely.
it's such a big deal, like getting aligned with that person in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And because two is better than one, and you can achieve more together, and you can just grow more together. So, but we have a lot going on today. We have the Broker Buzz, where we dive into the top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Then we're going to have a sales pitch training where John helps us become better salespeople. And then we'll wrap things up with story time with John. So, you ready for the first question of the Broker Buzz?
I'm ready, my friend.
Anyone else feeling this market heating up? I have more loans currently in processing than I've closed year to date.
So, you know, yeah, the answer is yeah. We for sure have been feeling it at my company. I've been feeling it. My book of business has exploded, especially past clients. And look, this isn't for everybody. People are going to listen and say, well, I'm not feeling that, John. And I understand. And we got to keep moving forward and propelling forward. But there's a lot of opportunity right now. And Tommy, we talked about it. I don't know if it was the last podcast or the one before, but we talked about the bottleneck, right? And we talked about people just being familiar with rates being as slightly higher than they've been in the past. Where, during COVID and a little after COVID, people weren't really accepting that rates had gone up as much as they had gone up. So it is happening. People are ready to buy homes, right? People are ready to sell their homes. They're ready to move on. Life cycles are occurring, right? It's 5-6 years later at this time, and people's lives are changing and evolving, which does correlate to what the data tells us, right? Every 4 to 7 years, people are doing something, whether it's refinancing, selling, whatever the case might be. They're doing something with their home, and we are feeling it. Pre-approvals are up. Mortgage applications, I believe Fannie Mae said they are up as well. And the one thing that was unique, here's what's fascinating. I think I just read an article, MBA, the association said that they actually reversed their rates and believe rates will actually be slightly higher this year than lower. Yet we're seeing an increase in applications when it comes to mortgages. So I think that is a fair statement. I really do.
Cool. So moving on to number 2, looking for a little guidance and maybe even some coaching. I've been fortunate to grow my business fairly quickly and have some huge opportunities in front of me. But I'll be honest, I'm feeling at capacity. The model I had in my head isn't playing out the way I hoped. My team needs a lot more hand holding than I expected. Mistakes are happening too often. I'm not confident I'm bringing in the right people to scale the right way. If you've built 180 to 200 plus units a year without wrecking your family slash personal life, I'd love to connect. Whether it's a coach you recommend or just someone willing to share what worked and didn't, I'm all ears. Thanks in advance. I appreciate this community.
Dude, so this guy is he's awesome. First of all, I won't say his name because it was in the our private site or our private link in Facebook. But I actually reached out to this individual and I said, hey, I'd love to talk to you if you want to chat. We spent a little close to an hour on Zoom together. Um, and it's so cool to like watch his business grow and to hear how it's growing. So he's running into a lot of the same things that everybody runs into. I actually told him about our company and what I dealt with. I was like, look, here's where we burned a ton of money. And one of the areas is, he wants to just make the right decision. So he needs as much information as he can to make that right decision. One of the areas when people ask questions like this, I don't approach it with like, here's exactly what you must do. I approach it as here's a route we took, and here's the other route that costed us money, and here's how we saved money. He's trying to get as much information as possible. The biggest area when he and I were talking, it's structuring for scale. When what we've made the biggest mistakes, it is truly that, okay, we're thinking about doing 100 loans a month early on, right? Okay, to do 100 loans, here's what we need. Well, here's the reality. To do 1,000 loans, you need a lot more different things than doing 100 loans. Why? Because the cost increases significantly. So when you're building to scale, think about something that seems crazy in your mind, right? Especially if you're a go-getter. If you're somebody that knows you want to do more or set yourself up for more, and you know who you are. There's some people who, hey, I love doing exactly this much business. It's the life I'm looking to live. By the way, more power to you. God bless you. God bless you. If that's not who you are, then you have to make sure when you're setting up your business, you're setting up for scale, not for 100 people. Think about 1,000 people. And then think about how much it would cost you to have 1,000 potential loans a month in the door, 1,000 a year even. What is it going to cost you? What does the build look like? What does the process look like? The second piece is process and procedures, what we talked about. We make these mistakes a lot, right? Especially when you're a newer company. I would say 5-6 years, even like us. Someone's coming in the door. You have to make sure they know their task and what they're supposed to do. What are the process and procedures? Do you have it in writing? Like when I say writing, I'm talking John Haddad steps out, Tommy Golightly jumps in. He can read the process and procedures and go, oh, I know what to do for John today. He's out of the office. And the same vice versa, right? If I have any, by the way, you have to have a little understanding of the role. But if I have any marketing background, that should be the same for me. If Tommy said, John, I need you to make sure this podcast goes smoothly. Here's how we do it. Here's the link. I'm out tomorrow, but I need you to follow this process. You got it? Yes, sir, I do. It's labeled and dialed in. If you don't have that, there's a huge problem for people coming in the door. The biggest issue is if they're not doing what you want them to do, quote unquote, but you never gave them process and procedures, you never gave them expectations, it is not fair for you to hold them accountable to something that they don't know what they're being held accountable to. And then the last piece of advice, whenever you're trying to scale and build to that many units, which is such a big win, I actually got this advice from Mark Zuckerberg that I absolutely love. And when you're bringing on people to help you scale to 150, 200, 300, whatever it is, Mark Zuckerberg said something that I've been truly trying to implement into my interview process when I'm bringing and hiring new people. In an alternate universe, could I work for this person? Love the question. In an alternate universe, could I see myself working for this person? And so I started crafting a lot of my messaging and questions differently in my interview process, just to see, right? Like, would I enjoy it? There are some people that I can just tell I would enjoy working for. So that's the path we took when you're trying to scale. He and I talked very, very deeply into the conversation. And then the last piece of it, y'all, I will say this. Don't be afraid to leverage virtual assistants. There is so many that are absolutely compliant, that do such a wonderful job staying compliant. We have with AIME Brokered VA is just one example of them. But please make sure that you're at least looking into it. There's opportunity there for you to save. It is super compliant. You can take some of the tasks off your hand, and they're doing such a wonderful job. These virtual assistants, I won't lie, we've seen some just awesome experiences from a client service perspective. It's hard to match. I won't lie. So pay attention to it. I appreciate you, and you're the man. You know who you are, my friend. Thank you for one, being vulnerable, being willing to share, but two, just, God, you don't make excuses. You know who you are. You kick ass and you take names, and we appreciate you big time, my friend. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, I'm going to double down on having a backup. Like, that's something the marketing team at AIM prides themselves on, is if one of us is out, there's someone else that knows how to do what you know how to do. Like, it's not their specialty, but we have processes. It's easy to follow, and you just follow the process, and we're able to cover each other. So we can take that time off.
And it's, you don't want the stress. That's really what it is. You don't want the stress of like not being able to take a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like imagine, here's the last piece, Tommy, to what you just said, okay? If you want to sell your business ever, and a company comes in, right? So a company, they're going to bring their people in. If they're going to buy you, they're going to bring their people in. We experience this. They're going to watch. All they're going to do is watch. If they watch and they say that, oh my God, this place doesn't run unless Tommy's here, just know you are not getting bought. I promise you're not getting bought. So it's a lot deeper. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you sharing. Big.
Yeah, no, absolutely. On to our final question for the week. Just had a realtor sit with a builder and client. Let's call them Brian. The salesperson went over mortgage rate, principal and interest payment, total costs, etc. She also suggested programs to one buy down and options for down payment. Is that something common? They aren't a licensed originator. Did we mess up by getting licensed? And now we're held to standards not required. Please help.
All right. So, I I feel your frustration in your message, okay, for the person that left this question. As much as you're not going to like what I have to say, it is the reality, okay? Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Keep doing the thing that you know is right. We need to get licensed. It's the right thing to get licensed. And you probably lost a deal, which we all have, to a builder. And it is very frustrating, especially because there are things that happen that it is hard to it's hard to explain to a consumer because, if they're getting a $20,000 credit from the builder, it's hard to justify what you can do for them. So here's the reality. Okay, one, always make sure you have perspective in the situation before we ever go down the path of accusing somebody of committing, illegal mortgage activities. You must be licensed in order to go through that process and go through interest rates, right? In that specific state, or you must be tied to a bank basically that gives you access and licensing to all 50 states where you can just talk about it and be insured basically by a giant federal bank. Now the other piece of it is, did the loan officer put the loan together and then the person's just reading what the loan officer put together? So like that's allowed to happen. For example, if Tommy is my uh, uh takes care of my clients after I write the loan, Tommy's allowed to go through what I've already disclosed to the consumer. So if I told the consumer, you're getting a 6.5 interest rate with this much in cost, Tommy's allowed to go over that with them and say, hey, it looks like you have a 6.5. It looks like it's this much in cost. Perfect. Tommy just can't discuss any different rates. If the client says to Tommy, well, can you tell me what a 6.25 looks like? Tommy cannot say a word about it. Nope, I cannot. I got to get you back to John. So just keep that in mind too. Did they do that? Because if they did that, they are in compliance. Now, if they didn't do that, no, you cannot. You are not supposed to talk rates, programs, fees, anything if you are not licensed. You just cannot do it. It is against the rules, except in those situations that I was talking to you about. And if you offer an extension of credit, you have to disclose APRs, just so everybody knows on here as well. So, was that the thing that should have happened? The answer is probably not, just based off the context I have, but I don't have the full context. The reality is though, people are. It's unfortunate, but people are gonna do it. And I hate to say that, but I have seen those situations and exactly what you said. And I'm going to do the right thing. And I know you're going to as well. I can tell. So try not to be as frustrated and understand that it is outside of your control in some situations. Educate your consumer the best that you can. Don't bash. If you bash, they're not gonna work with you. They don't want you to bash other people, right? They don't know who's telling the truth. It's just about educating. So the best that you can, what I would do is try and get in front of it before they get to the builder, is usually the path that I take. So if you have an idea or you think that they're going to go down that route, I build up the sale really heavily on the first call to give me at least one last chance at it. So if they tell me, client says, John, I'm going to shop, yada, yada. You know what? I appreciate that. Hopefully I've been nothing but fair and upfront with you. And I appreciate you being direct with me. I have one question for you. Do I get a fair shot at earning your business? Yeah. If a client, first of all, if you have any relationship with the client, they should say yes. If they say no, well, you probably didn't have the best relationship. So if they say yeah, from that perspective, all right, well, let me teach you how to shop then. Can I do that for you? Are you open to me teaching you how to shop for a mortgage? Clients are always shocked by that. Yeah, I'm open to it. Okay, great. What you need to do is, to be fair to me and every other lender, by the way, not just me, you have to call us all on the same day. Do you know why? Not so, no problem at all. Rates are just like the stock market. They're very volatile. They move all day long, but they open at the same time as the stock market opens up. So if you call me on Monday and then you call somebody else on Wednesday, even if rates move just a quarter of a point, that could be a huge disadvantage to me simply because you and I had a conversation Monday. So, to be fair to me and to be fair to all the other lenders, what is your timeline to making this decision, Tommy? Is it 3 days, 7, or longer than that?
7.
7? Perfect. So, what I'll do is we're going to schedule a follow up. I'm going to actually check in on you every couple of days until that 7th day. But on the 7th day, let's bring it down to 3 lenders. You already have me, so 2 more. And then we make that decision together in 7 days. Is that fair? Will you give me that fair chance at this?
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Thank you so much, Tommy. I really appreciate you, and I want you to do what you believe is best for you and your family. But I really want to say thank you for giving me a fair shot at this. You see the build up. Now, I'm not saying you're going to win the deal, but at least I now have a chance at this loan, whenever that case is, if they talk to a builder or anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, most people probably don't know that. And just again, it comes down to one of our key pillars: educate the consumer. And they may not know that it's like the stock market. They may not know when it opens and closes and when it changes and how it changes.
Nope. They generally don't, man. They're not supposed to. It's our job to educate them.
Exactly. Cool. Well, if you want a chance at your question being answered, if you are a member of AIM and in the Brokers Are Best Facebook group, when you post your question into the group, use all caps, broker power up question, and you have a higher chance of having your question answered here on the podcast. So, but if you are not an AIM member, you can scan the QR code and become an AIM member. And on the other side of the ad, we're going to talk about some sales pitch training. So, we'll see you on the other end.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIM membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIM membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIM membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIM's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIM offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimgroup.com, AIME group.com /membership. Your community is waiting.
And I'm waiting to become a better salesperson. So I had a question for John and thought would make a good segment here. And it's about burnout and recognizing burnout in yourself and understanding how to deal with it and what to do with it. And the main question is the scenario is you have identified that you are starting to burn out. It may be work related, it may be life related, it probably is a little bit of both, if I'm being honest. And you have goals that you are so close to. How do you manage that? Like, do you just push through and just keep going? I know this is very vague and very
It's the reason I'm smiling, Tommy, is like you have no clue how much research I've done on this.
great.
That's why I'm smiling to you, because it's like, how do you like I will tell you how to like when I and it's the psychology. So when I am going to talk about this, it's not like this is just what I think works. This is deep rooted books. This is psychology. This is science. This is you as a person, chemically, how your makeup is. Because it's something that I've dealt with since I was young. That's why I was smiling, man, because I'm excited to talk about this. So keep going.
One of the key indicators for me when I know I've reached it is caffeine stops working. Caffeine stops working, and I'm able to close my eyes and pass out a half hour after finishing a giant glass of coffee, or my caffeine is Mio. But just just reaching that physical mental exhaustion point, but knowing you still have things that need doing that only you can do. You can't delegate.
So, okay. When you think burnout, burnout is not as deep as people think it is. The problem with burnout is we actually where people screw up is they push through. And so that's why I smiled, Tommy, when you said, do you just push through it? So yes, I used to just push through it. And there's times now where, Tommy, I do just push through it, especially in the role that I'm in and what I have to take care of. But pushing through it actually destroys you. So understanding where burnout comes from, the first thing is, if you don't feel like you have autonomy and you're losing control of the situation you're in, just know burnout starts to happen. So let me give you an example of that. Tommy, marketing side, right? Okay. I say, Tommy, I'm going to empower you. Here's 2 people on your team. You build out these podcasts. You build out everything for me. Tommy's excited. Tommy's ready to go. All of a sudden, after a year of Tommy doing that and he's happy, I start going, all right, Tommy, I'm going to take away the podcast and give it to this person. And also, I'm going to promote another person that's going to do your job. So I'm going to give them 2 people as well. You guys are going to go up against each other, but I'm going to give him the podcast, Tommy, instead. And what else we're going to talk through is, yeah, Tommy, I don't know if I actually want you behind the camera right now. So let's figure that out later. You see what's happening? I'm taking something away, right? So now you're losing something that was yours. It was your identity. It's been a year in that process. So you can feel like something's being taken away. Loan officers, if you've ever had your compensation plans moved, you start to lose that control. I'm just sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. That's one area of it, is losing autonomy. Number 2 is chronic stress and emotional exhaustion. Okay. If you wake up every day and you're like, oh my God, here we go. Oh my God, here we go. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I can do this anymore. That is where you have to start telling yourself what is going on. If you wake up every morning with, what am I doing? You're on the wrong path. Burnout is around the corner if it's not there already. The second piece of it is overextension. So this is where my biggest issue is personally, right? I love people. I want to do as much as I possibly can, but I'll overextend myself. And what happens when you overextend is you start to get resentful when you miss important things in your life. So if you start missing family events, or you miss a kid's game, or you miss, dinner with your spouse, dinner with your whatever the case might be, that's another piece of it. And then the other side of it is personal triggers and emotional loads. So when you have everything else stacking up, now the things that maybe you weren't as triggered by, you start to become a little more irritated by. And so if you start feeling yourself getting irritated by somebody telling you to do a task, okay, you ever had that happen? Manager, hey, you should do this. Oh. You ever had your loved one, hey, you should do this? Oh. Why would they tell me to do that? Those are very key signs that you're entering burnout. Now, what do you do to address burnout? Number 1 is you need to set boundaries. Okay. So once you're feeling it, set the boundaries right away. You have to take a step back. Now, what does it mean to set boundaries? So that means if I'm being overextended, for example, like one of the things I have to do now for a lot of people is I have to go through my admin. Hey, please schedule here. Please go through this. So I don't overextend myself. I have to set those boundaries. I get roughly now, 150 texts a day from different people. That's a real number. How do I set those boundaries? That's difficult. And that's my fault. I set it up, right? That's my fault. But now I got to go back and set the boundaries. Number 2, prioritizing self-care. If you're not dialed into who you are as a person and who you need to be for everybody else, it's going to be a problem. Because now you're waking up and you don't have your own identity. You're not in a good routine. You're not taking care of yourself. Now you're just trying to figure out each day when you're talking to other people and they're basically dictating and controlling your day. Like for me right now, I'm down 25 pounds in the last 56 days.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. And you know how hard that's been for me. That's been something I've struggled with for years. And I feel a lot better. Like, yes, I'm still stressed, but my burnout's not the same. Number 3, seek support. One of the biggest areas, people say you need to push through, and that's not true. And when I say seek support, it's not like go play victim. That's like, here's what I'm feeling right now. Here's where I want to be. Here's what I've done so far. I'm not getting there as fast as I need to. What else can I do? 4, break everything into small wins. So you got to start giving yourself little wins every single day. That could mean pulling a credit report. That could mean going to a networking event. That could mean doing a Zoom call with with the team. That could mean putting on a training. You got to start learning how to give yourself small wins. I know the end goal is to close alone. I get it. That's how you get paid. I get it. But if you're in burnout, you're not going to get to the part of closing alone. So getting a small win. Number 5, focus on what you can control. These are very difficult. Everybody says this. So this one I'm not even going to go into because you got to learn how to do this. And the last piece, if like you're going down the path of depression and anxiety and all of that, you got to go get professional help. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid. I got a therapist, have for many years now, helps me quite a bit. And I grew up in a very, very old school household. Love my mom and dad to death. Shout out to the two of you. But that was not a thing in my just growing up in a foreign household. That was not a thing. So learning how to handle that and deal with that later was very important for me in terms of what I have to do. So burnout, there's science, there's psychology, and I just gave you 6 ways to help get yourself through it. I hope that answers your question, Tommy. I know I went into quite a bit of detail, but when I tell you it's something I am dialed into, it is something I'm dialed into.
No, it absolutely does. And there's 2 things that kind of stood out to me recently going through a little bit of burnout myself is I always tended to push through with a rowing analogy. I used to row crew and we would do 2,000-meter sprints. And you're in that last 500 meters and you're neck and neck with 1 or 2 other boats and you're exhausted because you've been flying down the river and you see them right there. You see the finish line. Well, the finish line's behind you, but you can tell it's coming. Uh, and you need to push through that little bit more. At 500 meters, it's nothing. It's a quarter of what you've done, or a quarter of the whole race, but it's still probably the most intense because you're the most exhausted. And so, but once you finish that, the sense of accomplishment you get from it being finished, but then you also have to respect what you just did and allow yourself to recover before doing something else after the race, if that makes sense.
It makes so much sense. Like that recovery process too is a very big deal when it comes to your mind and getting ready for whatever the next thing is. There is something that I so if somebody ever says to you, I love this, I can't take it anymore. So say that to me. Say I can't take it anymore.
Can't take it anymore, John.
Good. Nothing changes until staying the same is more painful than growth. So the reason I say that to you is it's something I've been working on. It's a newer quote I found that I absolutely love because when you get to that place, Tom, you have burnout and you're feeling that pain and like you feel like you can't take it anymore. Just know that that is a rebirth. And it's kind of like what you just said. It's the rebirth is like, okay, just take a step back, y'all. Set the boundaries, right? Even what I was talking about is that recovery. It's setting those boundaries. Okay, I gotta need a new plan of attack. I gotta do something different. So I love that. I think that's very aligned with what we're talking about.
Yeah, and one tangible task that I want to hand off as an actionable item that people can do is something I did this week. Is my wife and I sat down and we opened up our calendar. We have a shared calendar, and we basically completely redid it to our weekly must dos. Like what has to happen every week. We put our work days in. We put our family visits in. We put our grocery shopping, our meal prepping, and we put our sleep, which I think is the one that a lot of people forget to put in. Because when you look at that calendar in the weekly view and you see how much space is left, you respect that space a lot more. And those things that you thought were must do's maybe aren't, or maybe are a little more flexible. And so that was the learning I had.
Dude, one day I hope people don't really I know you're behind the camera, but y'all he and the two of them they're so dialed in. It's just really really cool. And I hope one day everybody gets to meet, the two of them and just understand the dynamic. It is really amazing. Like the communication, the things that they do and the things that they work on because it's not easy, but they'll sit down and take the time to map things out like that. And that's the biggest difference is like you are preaching what you are preaching. I'm sorry, you're practicing what you're preaching, which is like we do sit down, we do recover, we do try to rebuild, we do try to see what's in front of us. And it's not like it completely alleviates anxiety, but what it does is it manages anxiety. And I think that's the biggest piece that the two of you are so good at. So hopefully, God willing, one day I'll you get to meet them, and it's really fascinating. It
You'll
really
get
is.
to meet me for sure, Fuse.
Well,
So,
you
yeah.
obviously.
But yeah, and we have some other events coming up. We have Unify. We got Sacramento and Denver. So if you are in either of those areas and are available next week, scan the QR code in this next ad and see if see if you can make it. You're going to learn a lot, and it's going to be a great time. And you'll see John there. So on the other end, we'll have story time with John. Be right back.
If you're an independent mortgage broker, real estate pro, or home ownership advocate looking to connect with like-minded professionals, AIME is here to give back. If you're an independent mortgage broker, real estate pro, or home ownership advocate looking to connect with like-minded professionals, we have the perfect event for you. AIME is proud to bring you Unify, completely covered by AIME directly. Unify is AIME's local networking and education series designed to help you and your community build more referral relationships to grow your business together. Each event offers exclusive content focused on a topic shaping the mortgage industry with brief but powerful presentations from experts who have been in your shoes. Expect high-energy networking with real connections happening with real conversations. Plus, we're raffling off some pretty unique prizes at each and every event. Join the AIME's wholesale mortgage community, real estate professionals, and yes, even retail mortgage professionals. We want you there as well, because we know that we can make a difference in our local communities by connecting and having conversations together. This isn't just another event. This is where community meets opportunity. Whether you're looking for business strategies or the right people to help you level up, Unify delivers. Register today and join us for free. And just go to unify.aimegroup.com to get started.
All right, and we're back. Looking forward to one of my favorite parts of the podcast, story time with John. So, John, take it away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Today's story is about a game called Smash Paddle. All right. Smash Paddle is a mix of racquetball, pickleball, tennis, kind of all encompassed into one. There's a place here in Michigan. I believe it's owned by Henrik Zetterberg, who was a Detroit Red Wing for a really long time. We brought on additionally a executive admin that is helping our COO and our CEO at my mortgage company. So this individual, she's awesome. And she put this event on for us. She said, hey, we're going to bring everybody together and we're going to go and just have some fun. So we walk into the place, and the place was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Everything was set up perfectly. Now, we never played this before, but I will say this. I did play a lot of badminton growing up. So I've always enjoyed anything with a racket. Decent with it, not like great, definitely not like turning heads, but I am decent with a racket. Always just enjoyed playing it since I was a kid. So we're starting to set up, starting to do teams, and it's 2v2s across the board. Initially, our executive admin, she wasn't going to play. She's kind of, whatever. You just kind of figure it out. If there was space, then there was space. So then her and I are on a team together. And she could see that I had a knack for it, right? She could see that. And then she starts going back and forth. And as we start, she off the ground, she wasn't going in the direction she wanted right away, okay? It was taking her a second to get acclimated. So her and I are talking. We're coaching each other through it. I'm teaching her some things. And as we're going through and I'm teaching her, she whenever she'd make a mistake, she'd say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And I'd look at her and I'd say, stop saying sorry. Stop saying sorry. Like, we're learning right now and you're showing up. So we play the first game, go back and forth, back and forth. She's making mistakes, keep saying sorry to me, making mistakes, keep saying sorry to me. So then we play our second game. Stakes start to go down. Then we play our third game. And then we play our fourth game. And then we play our fifth game. And then we play our sixth game. By the time we get to the sixth game, she is diving. She is running, jumping into walls. Rug burns because there's a carpet on the ground. She's hitting the thing right off the wall as hard as she can. She's making crazy shots, getting them down, getting us points. We're winning our games. We're beating people left and right. People are challenging us now. And the entire time, this woman did it with a smile on her face. The entire time, she said, don't worry, I'll figure it out. And she figured it out. A game that she's never played before, simply by showing up, being coachable, and being willing to go all in. It was surreal. It gave me goosebumps because I'm a competitive person. So going into a situation where like I'm not good at something bothers me. You know, I become obsessed and I have to learn how to play. She said, nope, I'm gonna figure it out. Nope, I'm gonna keep going. Nope, I'm gonna keep going. She didn't want exception. She didn't want the rules bent. She said, no, I'll figure it out. Just keep telling me. And she figured it out. So how many of you stop when you're this close to actually figuring something out? How many of you say, this is too difficult. I don't want to figure this out right now? Versus those of you that show up with a smile and a willingness to figure it out, and a willingness to keep trying and keep practicing, and a willingness to be coachable, and a willingness to be open-minded. She impressed the hell out of me that day. And it was all because she showed up with a smile and was willing to put in the work. Sometimes that's all it takes. So that's my story for all of you. Show up, put a smile on, because sometimes that's all it takes, my friends. I appreciate you.
Yeah. No, that's honestly, it really is that is 95% of it, right? Showing up and understand. And then what I took away from that was starting to understand what was required, right? So you said the diving and the hitting it as hard as you can. And it's just learning from doing it a couple times and understanding what's required to do the thing and then implementing it right there.
And Tommy, you know, I told her at the end, because I had goosebumps, I said, I wish we filmed your entire, like every game we had. I said, if we would have filmed people would have lost their minds and not realized that it was 1 hour difference. I swear to you, it was 1 hour, Tommy. And it was so special and listen, let me be clear. She definitely has some athletic background. So for those out there, definitely you could tell she's played sports. But just to watch her just like learn the mechanics and understand, and her focus started to kick in, and I watched her get competitive, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced. So just seeing that transition, people notice. People do notice, and I don't want you to lose sight of that. It's really important.
So, yeah. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of learnings that you can have at Fuse that are very similar. And I heard a negative critique of Fuse this week, and wanted to share it here.
Okay.
In that Fuse, there's too many takeaways. I don't know what to do first. I don't know what to implement first. I've learned so much at this event. What do I implement first? So if you want that great problem to have, feel free to scan this ad, and we'll see you at Fuse.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced. featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, and we're back. So let's drive home these takeaways. Broker buzz. What's your takeaway from that?
Broker buzz is, focus on what you can control, obviously. Keep doing the right thing. It's also, think about scale. Think about your company with 1,000 loans a year, even more, regardless, of where you're at right now. That'll help you minimize the cost. That'll help you bring things down, make it easier. And then the other thing is just don't be afraid to sell. Don't be afraid to have conversations.
Yeah. And in the sales pitch, understanding your burnout, understanding where you're at in that journey, and figuring out what you're going to do about it.
And then the story, show up with a smile and keep pressing forward.
So we got to the closing. We got here. We made it. We're closing the loan, closing the podcast. So thank you for tuning into this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button and let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content, which there is a lot of now. And share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.
Take care.